What is going on, guys? Alonzo here with DJC Custom Woodworks, and I am finally getting to somewhat of a shop organization. And just for the sake of, so you guys can see what I'm got going here right now. Hold on. This is currently what it looks like right now in here. Let me, workbench, clusterfuck. Stuff on the floor, wood clamps on the floor, leftover stuff from projects. I did put some storage or some organization for my scrap wood or my wood with Bora, wall racks, my miter station here, drill holder and storage, whatever. So today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get those wood clamps organized. And what I'm gonna do, let me put this back up here. And I'm sorry guys, my FaceTime, my FaceTime, my FaceTime camera isn't working, so I can't see anything or see comments or see anything like that. But anyway, it's a video I'm recording, so disregard. So what I'm doing is making a French cleat storage rack, whatever you want to call it, for my wood clamps. I may get to some other things tonight. It's 10 o'clock, so 10:30. It's kind of late, but here we go. I kind of already started. Already ripped this down to 2.5 inch cleats with a 45 level. This is some leftover scrap I had laying around, some leftover 3/4 inch sanded ply. You can use whatever you want. I prefer the thicker the better, and got this from seeing a few videos on YouTube and people post and all that kind of stuff, so let me give it a shot. With that being said, guys, enjoy the video, subscribe, like, and you know what's crazy is that I have almost 200 subscribers, and that may not sound like a lot to some people, but to me that's crazy that almost 200 people want to watch or see or listen or hear to what I share. So that's pretty dope. It's pretty badass. So anyway, with that being said, hope you all enjoyed the video. And yeah, here we go. I'm just gonna finish this up. Let's have some fun.
All right, guys. So one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this because I wanted to get some kind of organization in my garage. So I wanted to make it look a little bit more organized and easier to find stuff. So that's why I decided to do the French cleat, because it's easy, customizable, and it works for a lot of different things. Right here you see me, I was going to put them all up and screw them in one by one, but I decided to do the pilot holes, line them all up based off the first one I did, because the studs are going to be in the same spot, and drill out the holes. That way it's easier to screw them all in at once, instead of taking one screw, taking one, make a pilot hole, make a pilot hole, make a pilot hole. It's just easier to do it this way. So that's what I'm doing here. Now, like, one of the cool things I would say about kind of starting out on your own thing and going with it or creating as you go is that you get the opportunity to really, start from the ground up and customize your own thing, make it work for you, build it how you want, and just take inspiration from other people that you see on YouTube or Instagram or stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. I'm loving this journey I'm on because it's amazing. It's me and enjoying something I love to do. So putting up the first one, and you guys will see after I put this, later, probably toward the end of the video, you see me make a mistake and I'm like, oh, I didn't really think about that, but no big deal. We're going to keep it flowing. I think one of my next upgrades, is going to be my miter saw. Like, Rigid is a quality miter saw, but one of the things that I noticed is that the newer saws have a soft startup. And I noticed with this one is that when you press it, it kind of has a jerk to it. So I'm actually going to be updating that as soon as I hit the lottery and I can go and buy the one I really want. It'll probably be a Makita, but Bosch is a really good one as well. And everyone knows about the Festool, but we ain't got those kind of dollars around here. So you see I'm here putting up those, putting up those first few. This is probably the easiest part of all this, right? Cutting the strips and measuring and make sure it works out. Now, one thing when you're spacing these out, make sure that you keep in mind that the cleat is going to take up some space when you hang it, so it's going to sit up higher. So you got to make sure, like I wanted these to be 8 inches apart, and I actually had to make them like 6.5 because the cleat took up, depending on how thick your cleat or how long your cleat is, it's going to take up some extra space. So I had to end up moving this around at the end, but it all worked out. Using my T-square, speed square to mark some more pilot holes, get those all set up, and then we're gonna move on from here shortly to start actually making the cleats for the wall for my wood clamps. You guys are gonna see me do this a lot. You guys are gonna see me step back and just stare and stare and stare and stare and stare a lot. It's just what's gonna happen. Sorry, gonna have to deal with it. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to fast forward to when I start making the actual cleats for it, and you'll see me do that here. All right, guys, so right here is when I used, this is a piece of scrap I had laying around my garage, and I am going to use that to make the cleats, if you will. So I don't know what I'm looking for here. What am I doing? What am I doing? I have no idea. Let's see, let's go forward a little bit. What am I doing? Oh, I'm trying to clean off my miter station so I can cut this. And here, the thing about these, like, you can cut these to be however long or whatever kind of depth you want, however long you want, based off what you need it for. Just keep in mind, the further out you go from a wall, you want to make sure that you have it put together pretty well. I use brad nails and mostly brad nails and wood glue for most of mine, except for when I used the parallel clamps, I used brad nails, wood glue, and screws, because those are a little bit heavier, so I wanted to make sure those had the proper support they needed in order to not fall off the wall or break. So again, here I am cutting a piece. I know you're looking at my back, don't mind me. I haven't done squats, so don't look too hard. Cutting a piece of plywood out and just kind of measuring it all up, getting it all squared up to where to make the cleat with. One of the things that I noticed is that as I'm cutting this, I noticed that this is where I really noticed that, as I said earlier, this is where I really noticed that jerk with this miter saw. It jerks really hard when you power it up. Again, you're gonna see me step back and stare a lot. I'm not sure why I did that. I don't know. I think I was trying to gauge my depth, how deep I wanted it. I have no idea, but yeah, because it really doesn't matter. Then this is just me making all the cuts to make the cleats, and then so I'm gonna start putting it together. All right, so right here I am just measuring the width, make sure everything's set up right, make sure how wide I want them to be, because they don't need to be too wide. Like these are about 1 inch in width, and I looked up the reference video just to make sure. My fiance came out, told me about the dessert that I could have that she made, which was banana pudding, deliciousness. So I'm just looking at the reference video to make sure that I am correct with what I'm measuring, because I don't want to mess this up and then have to do it all over again. So for these clamps, I'm making them 1 inch in width, or 1 inch opening, so they can sit pretty nicely in there. And I just want to make sure that everything fits correctly. I don't want to be too much space. I don't want to be too wide. I just want to maximize the space I have on the wall. So what you're seeing me here do is just measure the length that I want them to be, because it's very important that the length is good. And this is also where I kind of made a mistake, because I cut off the ends, so I should have left them longer, but oh well. So lengthwise, I have 3 are 8 inches, another 3 are 8.5 inches. So as far as the length of the strip that combines them to. Now that I got them all cut, which is what I just did, I just didn't turn the camera around and using that flat piece, because my workbench isn't completely flat, and I'm like, I realized that, so I'm using that piece of 1/2 inch plywood. Realized I didn't have my nail gun, so like, hey, let me go get my nail gun, and while I'm out there, I might as well clean out the rest of stuff out of my truck. By the way, this nail gun right here, that Ryobi nail gun, I hate it. I need to file a warranty claim, because it keeps like not firing like over and over again. I don't know what it is about it, but it just won't fire correctly. No idea. I've oiled it, battery, all that. So this I kind of went with 1 inch nail at first, because I thought it was going to be, if I used 1 1/4, it was going to be too long. Excuse me again. It was going to be too long. I'm doing this voiceover at 2 a.m. in the morning, so a little tired. It was going to be too long, and I was like, let me use 1 inch. I wanted to shoot through. I used some CA glue accelerator. First time using that, and this is where I realized I couldn't. It was kind of rock hard. I had to poke a hole. So first time using it, I'm like, okay, let me try it out. Let's see how it goes. And this was a interesting time, because I could have not used it probably, but yeah. Here I am. Here it is, not firing. This is me getting frustrated right there. It's like, I'm like, let me breathe. Let me just breathe. I hate this freaking thing. I gotta get a new one or file a warranty claim. So I went switch batteries, oiled it, and then finally it started working. So as I'm doing here is making sure that it is solid, and I put more nails in, because I'm like, man, this is where I realized I need a 1 1/4 inch nail, because it had a little wobble to it. So everything on how moving forward was 1 1/4 inch, and I'm just repeating those same steps. Wood glue, accelerator. Sometimes I use the wood glue accelerator with the CA. Sometimes I don't, but wood glue used on every single one, and brad nails. So that is what we have going on here. This is just going to be me doing this over and over again. So I'm just going to fast forward past this because it's me doing the same thing over and over and over again. All right, so this is why I'm actually making the other French cleat that goes on the back of the I guess, I don't know, I'm probably calling it the wrong thing, but pretty much the holder for the clamps. This is the cleat that goes on the back. So pretty much I just measured it to cut the width and then just put it on with wood glue, CA glue, and some brad nails. I do that repeatedly just to make sure that it sticks, it dries, and everything goes on pretty good, which is, it's nice because it's so easy and so simple, guys. When I'm using the CA glue, this is where I got the hang of it, is you use the CA glue, then spray the accelerator on the piece you're not with the CA glue, then press it on there. I got this confused a little bit a couple times, but I eventually figured it out and got it all working in order. And then you guys well, blah, 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 blah. You guys are going to see that I realized right here that I made the width not wide enough for the parallel clamps. I had 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and then I realized, oh crap, I didn't make one wide enough for the parallel clamps. As you guys see here, this is why I get kind of messed up, because I realized that I need to readjust all the cleats because the holders aren't long enough, because I cut off the ends to make it look a little bit not as sharp. So yeah, moving them all up, which wasn't a big deal. Took me maybe 5 minutes to do it. But again, I should have caught this in the beginning, but I didn't do it again. But here we are doing it all over again, because why not? When I get to this middle point, I think about adding another one, because I'm like, if I could add another one, it may be a good idea. And I was like, you know what? That makes no sense. I don't need more. It's a little small space. It works. I'm just going to do it over here and get everything off the floor ASAP, so I can go to bed because I'm getting tired. This is just me adjusting to hanging the cleats on here, actually. So right here is I'm trying to find a scrap piece of wood to make this cleat for the parallel clamps. And I realized that, hey, this is going to be easy. I can just use one piece of plywood, cut it in half, find the right angle, and it will work out fine. It took me maybe 5 minutes to figure it out. And I guess that's what's cool about French cleats. Like, you can do so many different things to make it work for you. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just wood, which is so cheap and inexpensive. Don't get me wrong. There are things that look better, right? You can make cabinets, which I'm in the process of doing as well, but French cleats for parallel clamps just works. So that's what you have me here. And this time I'm checking the length before I do anything else. I'm checking the length of them. Then I'm just going over here to put them all together to make sure it works. Brad nails, wood glue, cool. Moving on. These I did use screws on the sides because, again, they're parallel clamps, so a little bit heavier. So I wanted to make sure I had that extra strength. So I add some screws to these to make sure that it is strong, and again, that it doesn't fall. There's nothing like putting something together and then you come outside and then like, oh, fuck, it broke. Sucks. But getting that put together, and then gonna move on and put this up, and then it'll be kind of putting everything in its place and hanging it up. All right, guys, so here we are at the grand finale. Finally, right? Got them all figured out, and now I'm just hanging them. Like, this feeling right here of finishing a project, no matter how small it is, and then as you're doing it, you're seeing it come into play. It's amazing. It's such a good feeling. So I picked up some some more clamps from Harbor Freight because they had 30% off clamps, and I was like, why not? I can get some better quality clamps than I had, because I had all tool shop clamps that I bought from Menards when I first started out that I had for years, and they worked with everything. But let me upgrade my game. So finally got some. It's going to be amazing. And I also picked up some Jorgensens, whatever it may be. Whoever put this little plastic piece on those, mission impossible to break off, but I finally got it. Then this is me just organizing them, getting them all up there, seeing them, stepping back, making sure I like the way they look, like the way they place, and kind of moving things around, which is just the awesome part about French cleats. I can just move them around. It just works, right? Move them over, scoot them this way. They're not in a fixed position. So I get it, guys. I get it. I see why people are so enamored with French cleats and for tool shops. Now, let me slow this down right here, guys, so you guys can see this. Actually, no, not yet. Speed, keep going. Fast forward past this, keep going. Now, actually, yeah, right here. Dude. This one that I'm using right here is my old wood clamp. And I was like, you know what? Let me just clean this up. Let me cut off some trim that's on the front, clean it up a little bit. I'm going to put a French cleat on the back of it, put one on the bottom, and I'm going to use it for like all my small clamps, the ones that I really don't use very often, but they come in handy when I do need to use them. So again, just some wood glue, some screws, screw them in. I use screws only because, I don't know, it was just easier. For the cleat itself, I use screws. But for the bottom supports that you're going to see me put on here very shortly, it was just brad nails, because it's just bracing it against the wall. That's all it's really doing. These right here I just put on. Those are just brad nails. Then I go put them on the wall, and boom. Put the little pieces on, the other little clamps that I have laying around my garage. Look at this. It's just so nice. Just look. It's nice. It's organized. Everything looks good. I had to step back and just admire. Look at that. That's nicely organized. So much better than it was before. Definitely proud of this project. So guys, I definitely hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give me a like, give me a comment. If you have questions, by all means comment below. I'll be happy to answer them. And subscribe. Deuces.